Hi there! Welcome to Live with the Paper Pixie, episode 264. I'm Julie DiMatteo, the Paper Pixie, coming to you live from Alpharetta, Georgia. After a little 2-week hiatus, I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. To those of you in the U.S. that celebrated, we had a really nice week off. Well, it wasn't a week off, you were working, but I took a little bit of time off, and we had a nice Thanksgiving. We made a sous vide turkey and all the fixins, and we had a good week. Nolan got strep on Tuesday, and just as a reminder that I am not in control. So anyways, we had a good week off. I'm excited to be back with you tonight. Thank you for letting me push it back for about 15 minutes. We were still having family dinner and I needed the extra time. So anyways, I hope you all are doing really, really well. Tonight, I've got some easy projects for you because I've got lots to share with you tonight. Tomorrow is a big day in Stampin' Up! World. But let me give you a quick sneak peek of what we're making. This really, really easy card, and I will show you the card that I have cased. And then this is an unfinished box, but I have an idea of how to finish it. We'll see if we can pull it off tonight. It holds one of the Bath & Body Works Shea Butter cleansing bars, and you'll see in there one of my gift cards. It also holds a gift card. So that uses an 8 1/4 inch square piece of cardstock. So those of you overseas or our European folks that use A4 cardstock, you should be able to create this box as well. It's a really good size box. It'll fit a lot of things. So I'll show you how to make that tonight. But first, Brian, are you ready for your cameo? My husband, Brian, is watching for your questions and comments. If you do have a question tonight, be sure to put Q: in front of that question. That will cue your question for me to the end of the live stream. That way I can focus on tonight's projects, and then we will do Q&A at the end of the live stream. I'll stay on with you till we answer all your questions. And let's see, when you shop with me, you earn Pixie Perks on orders of $25 or more. Please use my shopping link, thepaperpixie.com/shop. If your order is going to be under $150, because that will auto-magically add my current host code to your order, then that way you'll earn Pixie Perks. Now, if your order is $150 or more, you're going to earn Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up!, and you'll also earn Pixie Perks from me, but you don't want to add the host code to $150 or more orders, because then you won't get the Stampin' Rewards. Now, we've got a couple of things tonight I want to talk about. Tomorrow, December 1st, is a really big deal here in Stampin' Up! World. Lots of products in the online store are going to be deeply discounted, up to 60% off. That is a combination of the Last Chance products, which launch tomorrow. These are products from the outgoing mini catalog, so our beloved July to December 2022 mini catalog. This is a list of products that are retiring. I did add to the description of this video a link to the PDF that I've put together. I basically worked off of Stampin' Up's PDF, but I love to call out here in the notes column. I know this is small for you to read on the screen, but in certain instances, it's better for you to buy products, bundle products individually versus bundles as bundles. But I've tried to make note of all of those and what your savings will be. That's the Last Chance list. These products are only available while supplies last through January 4th. But keep your eye on the Last Chance list. That should be available. The discount should be applied as of 12:00 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow morning, December 1st, so just a few hours from now. They are also refreshing the clearance rack. So I've got that. Here are my different shopping links for you to shop tomorrow. Thepaperpixie.com/lastchance, also linked in the description. And thepaperpixie.com/clearance, also linked in the description. Clearance, that link will work now. However, it won't have the updated, refreshed clearance products. You want to wait until 12 a.m. Mountain Time for that. Again, I've linked this in the description of this video, so you can take this and print it and study it. I love to take these lists and actually mark the catalog. You should see what my catalog looks like, because I marked everything that's retiring and carrying over, etc. I will actually have a blog post posting tomorrow that's going to have all kinds of information for you, telling you when to buy the bundles, when to buy the individual items. links to this PDF, both in PDF and Excel, so you can sort it different ways. That post will publish to my blog tomorrow after a month hiatus at 6 a.m. Eastern time, so keep your eye out for that. I do have some show and tell tonight. It's not from the kids, but I did get a chance to swing by my mailbox and pick up some cards, so I want to show you what I've got. I'm going to quickly, because I want to make sure I give a shout out to who's given me the cards. This is from my team member, Ginny. How beautiful is that with the Sending Smiles bundle? I love that. Got my team member, Myrtle, with this beautiful fall card. Thank you, Myrtle. Let's see. I'm checking. This is from my team member, Linda Johnson. How beautiful are those colors together? I'm not ready for fall to be over, are you guys? Let's see. This is from my team member, Lonnie Rhodes. Thank you, Lonnie. Beautiful card. A fun fold here for Thanksgiving. And then I've got some great sympathy cards that I received. I'm so, so grateful for you. This is for our golden retriever that we lost about a month ago. But how cool is that little sort of shadow there? That was the dog punch. Absolutely love it. This is from Janice Toutant, or am I pronouncing that right, Janice? I hope so. Love that card. This is from Kathy Barron, some inspiration for you. I love this stamp set with the boots. Let's see, Cynthia Schmidt, how beautiful is that? The Rainbow Bridge, I love that with the halo. No matter how long we get to love them, it's never long enough, ain't that the truth? This one from Marilyn Murphy. Look at that little halo. How fun is that? I think she used a Cricut for this maybe, which I love how those layer together. And then the last one from Jennifer Voss. Beautiful with the little, I think that's stamped off crumb cake behind there with the plaid. Now this whole bundle is on the last chance list, so make sure you take a look at that. And tonight we're going to be using the Leaves of Holly bundle. Let me show you what that looks like. This is one of my favorite bundles in the whole mini catalog. These are not, the bundle itself is 10% off as normal, but they're not discounted, probably because this was super popular, but it is retiring. This is a gorgeous bundle for the holidays. It has both Season's Greetings and Christmas Wishes, and I love the dies in it. I think I have another die that's out, maybe. It's probably sitting on a desk somewhere. There's a really beautiful intricate die that has a tag and holly leaves on it. But I love this paired with the Designer Series paper, which is the Boughs of Holly Designer Series paper. We're going to use that today. So I thought, why don't we start with the really easy card. This is one of those that if you're like me and you haven't started your Christmas cards, this is one of those that is a great way to not only showcase a gorgeous Designer Series paper, but use your Designer Series paper. So I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks with this one. I absolutely love the simplicity of it and the rounded corners as well. And on the inside, it says Christmas Wishes from our home to yours. And that's all coming from the Leaves of Holly bundle. So let me go ahead and grab a full sheet of thick basic white. I'm going to kind of show you this from start to finish, my process and tips and tricks for creating multiples here. Let me get that out of the way. I was spending most of the day today working and studying the last chance list, and I just ran out of time. One of those things. So I've got a full sheet of thick basic white. I love this for card bases. And I like to do the sandwich fold along the short side. It's a little bit easier to take photos of when it stands up, but I just also loved kind of these long and tall. I mean, it's going to be the same size, whether it opens on the top or the side, but I just love a card that opens this way. But total user preference. You can do it either way for this card. So I'm going to turn it to the long side and we're going to score a full sheet to 5.5. Make sure you move that cutting blade out of the way and we'll score that at 5.5. I don't know. Out of habit, I go back and forth a few times. Then I'm going to turn it to the short side and we're going to cut this to 4.25. And then what you're going to end up with are two cards couldn't remember whether I was cutting or scoring. 2 cards that are already scored and ready to go. So we got that score line right down the middle. I'm going to leave actually I'm going to put the paper trimmer away for 1 second. Grabbing this beautiful Boughs of Holly paper, and I love the poinsettia pattern. So I wanted to show you, as I'm talking away from the mic, I wanted to show you this is the inspiration from fellow demonstrator Lisa Fast, I believe. Love, love, love this. This is such a beautiful Christmas card. I think I got this from her last year, but I love to be inspired by other cards that I receive from you amazing, amazing paper crafters. But she's even added, I think with Stampin' Blends, some shading to those ornaments. How pretty is that? But that angled cut there on that pattern is just beautiful with the simple sentiment. I fell in love with it, so I had to recreate it. So Lisa, thank you. So for this, I'm actually going to go ahead and cut off a piece to 4 1/4 off the bottom, okay? Because we're actually going to do pieces that are 4 1/4 by 7 1/4 because you're going to end up getting 2 from one piece. I'm going to kind of show you how to cut it. So I took my 12 by 12 and this works the best if you have a non-directional pattern. Not a big deal if it's directional, you're just not going to be able to get as many pieces and parts out of it. So 4 1/4 strip, and then I'm going to do another 4 1/4 strip. Is that going to work? I'm thinking, yes, it will. I'm just going to see how many of these I can get. And another 4 1/4. You're going to have a little bit of excess, but you'll be able to use the excess for actually the box that we're creating. And then the next thing I want to do is make sure that we cut it to 7 1/4. So 4 1/4 by 7 1/4 are the pieces that you want. And I think if I'm doing the math right, we're going to be able to get 6 pieces, actually. 1, 2, yeah, 6. I was going to double that, but that's not right. So I'm just basically taking my full sheet of 12 by 12. You're going to have a couple of strips about this size that you can use to accent the inside of the card if you like. I'm going to need this again. And then you got these 2 pieces as well that are kind of leftovers. I'm going to hang on to those because I'll cut them for the box. So basically what I've got here are 3 pieces that measure 4 1/4 by 7 1/4. Now, if you wanted to sort of alternate the patterns and the different designs, you could actually kind of sandwich the like designs together because we're going to try to maximize our cuts here. And I'm actually going to try to do 3 at once. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to grab my ruler and I have it in landscape, and I'm going to grab a pencil. And at the top from the left, I'm going to make a tick mark at 2 3/4. Just show you what that looks like. Just a little pencil mark right there. Okay, 2 3/4. And then we can either go 2 3/4 from the right bottom, or we can do 4 1/2. Either one works. Okay, so it's 4 1/2 from the left, or it's 2 3/4 from the right. Okay, so what we've got then are tick marks sort of diagonally across from each other. So I'm going to bring this piece back. We're going to be brave and cut 3 sheets at once. You do want to make sure that they're stacked nicely. And using that one piece that we made the pencil marks, I'm going to line up the pencil marks right into the groove, or the cutting groove, of our paper trimmer. Okay, so then we're just going to cut. You may need to go a couple, actually that did cut through the first time. So then what we end up with are 6 pieces that are cut the way we want them, okay? So let me just show you. I personally love the poinsettia pattern the most, but we're gonna have those kind of going in different angled ways. So you would just sort of alternate which way or which side of the card you put your sentiment, but I love it going either way. So I'm going to go ahead and, what did I do on my sample? Because I've got the Stamparatus set up, but that is 6 of these great diagonal pieces of a beautiful designer series paper to add to cards. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish on the score line. Okay. Oops. And then I'm going to go ahead and round the corners. I've got this folded and I'm just going to use a corner rounder punch and round the bottom 2 corners of that card. Love the rounded corners on Lisa's card. Okay. And then what we're going to do is you can either do dimensionals like Lisa did, or I'm going to just go ahead and glue that right to the basic white card base. Okay. So liquid glue is my favorite for things like this. Well, it's my favorite no matter what, but especially when you're trying to line up edges really well. I just do a little light line of glue, and then we're going to go ahead and line that up with the edges and then the top fold. And the liquid glue gives you a chance to do that. All right, there we go. It already looks beautiful with that section of designer paper. I love that. Now I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus because I've already actually got this lined up, because this is one of those cards that it will be so quick and easy to do multiples of. So I'm going to go ahead and just line this up right here in the corner, and I've got my Christmas wishes already set up there. I'm going to grab my magnet just to keep this card in place. And then I'm going to use Shaded Spruce for the ink color. You could use Shaded Spruce, Evening Evergreen, Cherry Cobbler, Mossy Meadow. All of these colors are in this pack of paper. Poppy Parade would work too. So I probably am going to ink this up twice because I think I need to re-ink my Shaded Spruce. But that's the nice thing about the Stamparatus, is it's just going to stamp in the exact same spot each time and give you a really nice, sharp, stamped image there. There we go. So that is the card front. Now, to do the inside, I just opened my card and I turned it this way. This is sort of how I set it up on the Stamparatus. I'm going to put my magnet right there. And then I've put the From Our Home to Yours on the back side of the Stamparatus plate here. Push this past the, there we go. And this one I'll probably ink up twice as well. But that's one of my favorite things about the Stamparatus, is the fact that I can have these ready to go and flip my plates and making multiples much easier. Love to hear that, Deborah. You're coming to like the liquid glue over the Stampin' Seal. So there we go, From Our Home to Yours. Okay. Now we're going to add our little bit of bling, and then this card is finished. How quick was that? This was like a 5 to 10 minute card. I suppose if you're not talking, it goes much faster than that. All right. Never remember the name of this glimmer paper, but I know that it's retiring. It's the one that in the mini catalog that comes with Very Vanilla, Evening Evergreen, and Gold. And I just cut mine down to 6 by 6, but it does come in 12 by 12. I do 6 by 6 just for storage purposes. And if you really wanted to conserve paper here, I would actually cut this to 5 inches. So then you're going to end up with a 1 inch by 6 inch piece, which you'll be able to get, let's see, 4 of these strips out of this piece. And then this piece, if you turn it this way, you're going to get, what is 6 inches divided by an 8? 24 pieces, I think. I think that's right. No, it's 48 pieces maybe. I can't do the math tonight. My brain is fried. But I am actually only putting this at the very first tick mark to the right of the cutting groove, which is actually 1/8 of an inch. Now you could do a quarter as well. How are we doing?
Where's the last chance list?
The last chance list is linked in the description of this video.
It's coming up 4.
Is it really?
That's what somebody said.
Oh. I can check the link after the live and make sure it goes to the right spot. Brian's going to give it a try too. So then we've got basically this 5" by 1/8 of an inch strip. And it's so funny, the camera doesn't know how to focus on that beautiful glimmery, glittery paper. All right, so bringing this guy back, this usually requires a bit of a steady hand, but just take your time. I'm going to put a thin bead of glue right along that diagonal edge, but on the basic white part. Like really thin, okay? Teeny tiny, and then we're just going to butt this little 1/8 of an inch right up to the edge of that Designer Series paper. And the liquid glue, again, is your friend. You can slide that right into place. Working for you? Okay. Maybe grab the link and try popping it in the chat. Oh, you know what? Okay, let me clarify. There is a shopping link that's thepaperpixie.com/lastchance. That link is directly to go to the Stampin' Up! Online store, and that link actually won't work until midnight Mountain Time. That's probably the link that she's tried. The list itself, that link will work, but the Last Chance link will not work until midnight Mountain Time tonight, okay? And that's just because they haven't loaded that list until then. Sorry about that. I should have clarified. She's on my team.
Yes, yeah,
okay, I'll go back and look at the chat. Debbie, I'll check the links as well that you're talking about. Oh, you know what, Debbie? Yes. So those 2 links, I did say in the newsletter that they won't work until midnight. So just wait till some of you, I know you, are crafters into the wee hours of the morning. So if you'll just wait till midnight Mountain Time, the links that weren't working will work at that point in time. Okay. All right, so thank you, Becky, for letting me know. I didn't check the inventory status report. So there we go, Leaves of Holly bundle. This is a quick and easy, really only, what do you call that, a 2-layer card. It's just thick basic white and a Designer Series paper with a teeny tiny strip of that beautiful gold glimmer paper. So quick and easy. This would be easy to mail, super flat. You'll be well under the 1 ounce USPS weight for that. And this would be really cute even to glue like a family photo on the inside. Get those printed really cheaply at Walmart or Walgreens and stick those inside. This would be a quick and easy Christmas card for the holidays. Alrighty, so let's jump into the box. Now I'm gonna probably decorate this on the fly because that's how I'm rolling today. But I love, this feels a little bit like a chunky clutch. I don't know, I love handbags and purses and things, and that's kind of what this reminded me of. The style of this is similar to a few boxes that I've done in a similar style. If you remember the 35 stick extra gum pack, the one with the Cactus Cuties, I think was the bundle we used for that one. This is the same style of that. And again, for those of you that have just joined us, this is what the box looks like. And I grabbed one of the Shea Butter cleansing bars from Bath & Body Works, and it also will fit a gift card. So how cute would this be for a teacher gift or for the bus driver? Really anybody for the holidays. These soaps are really luxurious and they smell wonderful. I wish I had smell-o-vision, but Black Cherry Merlot, I thought that was pretty for the holidays. It doesn't exactly match this paper, but it's beautiful, and even the cherry bundle would go really well with that. But let me tell you the dimensions of this box. I don't know what else would fit in here because I hadn't tested that yet, but let's start with the height first. It's 2 1/4 inches in height, 3 3/4 inches in width, and then 1 3/8 of an inch in depth. I have not yet created the project sheet, but I will do that before the end of the day tomorrow and add it to the description of this video, and it will end up on my blog eventually. I've got lots of catch up to do, as many of you know. but I do always try to give you the project sheets at least in the video so you have them. So let's go ahead and create this. All we need to start with is an 8 1/4 inch square piece of cardstock. So I'm going to get a piece of shaded spruce. Actually, yeah, let's do shaded spruce. We are cutting on the fly. So 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. We're going to need our long arm here. This should work for those of you that use A4. Ooh, yeah, holiday socks, Elisa. Someone was asking about that a couple weeks ago, weren't they? Good shout out for that. Thank you. So 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. All right, bringing in my measurements here. So because this is square, we can start on any side because they're basically the same. So we are going to score on opposite sides at 7/8 and 2 1/4. So 7/8, 2 1/4. Then I'm going to rotate it 180 and repeat. Okay, so 7/8 and 2 1/4. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it 1/4 of a turn, and we're focusing on the opposite sides here, and we're going to do 1 5/8 and 3. Rotate 1/4 of a turn, 1 5/8, right? Yeah, 1 5/8 and 3. Okay. I do have a template somewhere. Oh yeah, it's probably with the last chance. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I was searching everywhere for my ruler just before going live, and I looked like just like that little, what was it called? The little chiseler when I was doing the scan and cut project, everywhere, and it was right in front of my nose. I know that happens to more than just me. I was like, I swear it was hiding, and then it just decided to show up. I can't live without my 6-inch ruler here. All right, so bringing in the template. Now, I do want to say that if you wanted to have tabs, now let me show you the box really quickly. I opted to not have tabs here at the top. If you don't like, I mean, it's the tiniest little bit of a gap right here. If you don't want to have a gap there, then these 2 squares here, you're going to leave behind and turn into tabs, much like this, okay? So that is totally optional. And I can actually, I'm going to cut the one tonight to just show you the difference. And then I'm going to ask you in the chat to tell me if you're team tab or team no tab. So here is the template. We're going to use this as reference for cutting and removing pieces. So we want to take a look at where we have the narrower sections on the left and the right. Okay, so that's the sides. These wider sections, those are the top and the bottom. But again, you can have this go either way because these measurements are the same top to bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut up each of the vertical score lines, stopping at the second horizontal score line. This is considered the bottom of the gift box here. I'm just cutting right down the middle of the score line here, but we're going to cut up each of those vertical score lines and then stop at that second horizontal, okay? So these 2 sections we're going to remove completely. No need to miter cut here. And then I'm just going to remove the one section, so this one section here. And I reserve the right to change my mind on the tabs. I might end up cutting them off. It depends on how it looks. All right, so then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, cutting up each of the vertical score lines, stopping at that second horizontal score line. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it here and remove these 2 sections. Oops, and then just the one here. Like so, okay? Then I'm just going to fold this big section out of the way, and we're going to come in and miter cut these 2 tabs. I've made these boxes a couple of different ways. I think the 35 stick extra gum pack, that was the one we were talking about 2 weeks ago when I was showing all the swaps. It's this plastic container that those 35 sticks of gum come in. That project that's like this, I didn't do tabs on the bottom at all, but I thought the soap is pretty heavy, so the tabs on the bottom give it a little bit more structure and sturdiness. Like that, okay? Now basically, we would cut this exactly the same way on the top if we wanted the tabs. If not, we would actually remove the whole 4 sections in the corner versus just the 2 and then the 1, or I should say the 3 corner sections. So we're gonna repeat the same thing for this one. Cutting up each of the vertical score lines, stopping at that second horizontal. Remove the 2, and then remove the 1 if you want to have tabs. I'm going to just show you the difference between the two, okay? Same thing over here. Okay, and then turn and remove the 2, and then remove the 1. Okay, so same thing. Let's fold this big section out of the way, then we can come in and miter cut these. Just keeps those pesky little corners out of the way so that your box has a really nice closure. All right, let's get these out of the way here. The next thing I'm going to do is round some corners here, and let me grab this is the detailed trio punch. Sadly, it's retired, but we're going to round these 2 corners and these 2 corners. So the ones that are the top of the box. People are already saying team tab. I love it. So I like to fold those tabs out of the way. Then that gives me more leverage to get in here and round those corners. Now that one was funky. Let's try that one again. There we go, that's better. And then these 2 guys, I like to move things out of the way. So now we know what the top of our box is. And it's the one with the rounded corners. So basically you want to focus on, so if you didn't have tabs, it would look like this. Let's put that over the template here. I always say it looks like a rocket ship, these boxes, the way that this is. So then if you wanted tabs, you could go like that, okay? So now we need to do cutting of designer series paper. We're gonna do that next. And remember those scraps that we had. Maybe. Sorry, I'm crowding you, aren't I? All right, so I'm going to take one of the strips here and I'm going to cut it. I think this is actually already to 3.5. Let's check. Yeah, it's already 3.5. So this was one of the scraps from cutting those pieces for the card. So we can cut quite a few of our strips from that. And we're going to do 2 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 3.5. So 1 3/8, 1 3/8. Then we've got 1 piece that's 2 by 3.5. 1 piece that is 1 1/8 by 3.5. And then this piece is going to be kind of scrap because I'm going to need to dip into the other piece because I actually need, let's see, 2 pieces that measure 1 1/8 by 2. And this was like ½ of an inch short. I was like, that would have been so perfect if I could get this to, because I don't think it's, yeah, not enough to get 2 out of that. So I'm just grabbing the other scrap piece. I'll do this to 1 1/8 and then 2. Okay, so I'll repeat those measurements just a second. 2 and then 2. Oh, get some rest, Jacqueline. Thanks for joining us. All right, so let's repeat those pieces. We have 2 that measure 1 3/8 by 3.5. We have 1 that measures 2 by 3.5. 1 that measures 1 1/8 by 3.5. And then 2 that measure 1 1/8 by 2. So those are all the pieces that I put together for this one. Now, one of these that is 1 3/8 by 3.5, we're going to round the corners. That's going to be what fits on the flap. And remind me, I wanted to show you how I use the die cut app. Show you how we can figure out how many pieces we can get for that card. Will you remind me of that? Thank you. They were just talking about that on the radio today. People being invited to something and they're like, can you remind me next week? And they're like, just put it in your phone. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and glue that piece to the lid. Liquid glue here. And again, this helps if you've got a non-directional pattern as well. Although if you were doing directional, all of these pieces would need to be landscape except for the 2 smaller ones, and you'd want those to be in portrait. Okay, so that's that piece. The narrower one is going to go here on the top. Just going to kind of work my way. The biggest piece is going to go here on the back of the box. We're going to ignore the bottom of the box. I know that doesn't look like the bottom, but that's going to be the bottom piece. We don't need paper there. And then I'm going to put one more here. Not one more. I still have the 2 side pieces. There we go. And then we've got those 2 side pieces are going to go right here. Totally optional. You don't have to put designer series paper on all these sides, but it does give the box a really nice look. And it's so funny. I'm so used to putting paper down landscape. It's just how my brain works. And before we start to put this box together, we're going to do one more thing for the closure. If you'd like to have a Velcro closure for this, or magnetic, this would work for magnets as well. I'm going to show you how you can line those things up. The mechanism would pretty much be the same if you were doing Velcro dots or magnets. I love, love, love my thin clear fasteners. These are the 5/8 of an inch circles. I know many of you love the 3/8 of an inch as well. This one, I think this one probably lends better towards the 5/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to grab, you probably saw me during the countdown timer. I was wrapping this up only to pull it out again. But I've already got the hooks and the loops sandwiched together. You would do a similar thing. Well, not really with the magnets. You would sandwich them together after the fact. But what I'm going to do here is this is where we want to start by putting the Velcro dot. So I'm going to pull the backing off of the side that is the clearer side. I always call that the hook side. And we're going to stick that just below that top edge there, kind of centering it left to right, and I'm about 1/8 of an inch down from the edge there. Then I'll pull the backing off of the loop side. Did I say loop? The clear one is hook. The more opaque one is loop. And I like to turn it this way, okay? So I'm going to fold on the second score line from the left and then the first score line from the right. That is going to line that up using our score lines. This is a because we've got an even number of score lines here. So pressing it flat, second score line from the left, pressing it flat, first score line from the right. And that basically makes sure that those Velcro dots are in the right place. You do the same thing to line up the magnets. Now with the magnets, you might want to hide them underneath Designer Series paper to make them a little bit safer. You could put Designer Series paper here. You could even put the magnet under the front. They're so strong that that would work. So those are where we want them to be. You can always do it at the end as well, but I find that this way lines up a lot easier. All right, so now grab your glue and actually, nope. We need tear and tape, which of course has sprouted legs and walked away. Hold on. Because that's what things do in my craft room, so we'll just open a new one. All right, so tear and tape. We've got the side that has the Velcro dot here. I'm gonna put technically 4 strips of tear and tape, and I'm gonna use my trusty metal ruler here. I'm gonna put this down and show you once it's in place and it kind of explain why. But I'm just gonna do 2 strips right next to each other. Gives us a little bit of some extra oomph with the adhesive here. And then one more. All right. So essentially what that's done is now we know, because this is where the adhesive would need to stop, that when we fold this up, these are going to adhere here. Now, if you were to put adhesive on these little tabs, you wouldn't necessarily know where to stop. So I like to put the adhesive here on this sort of front wall, and then we know where to stop and it knows right where to go. And I just know because this is 7/8 of an inch width here, 2 strips of tear and tape work just fine. Okay, so we've got that ready to go. I'm gonna bring in liquid glue and we're gonna start with one of these tabs. So I'm gonna put liquid glue. These are the 2 tabs on the bottom. You will not be putting adhesive on the tabs on the top. So we're gonna line up this score line with this cut edge and start to form the bottom of our soap gift box here. I've got kind of my fingers on the inside, just pressing and holding that into place. So that tab is just folding in right there on the bottom, okay? And then we'll do the same thing over here. Again, lining up that score line with that cut edge. And form the base, okay? All right, so now I kind of like to fold these tabs out of the way so then I can come in with my take your pick tool and we're just gonna pull the backing off of the tear and tape. You could have done that before you glued the tabs as well, but you run the risk of sticking to your tear and tape that way. I do it both ways. All right, so what I like to do here is actually put the thing in the box that I'm creating the box for, because it's gonna give me a little bit of leverage here. So just to show you, we've got the soap, the Shea Butter Cleansing Bar, and a gift card. And I'm gonna just place those in the box. That's just gonna give me a little bit of leverage here. And then I'm gonna take my time now, and I'm gonna line up this cut edge right here with that folded edge. I'll try to catch the light there. This folded edge with this cut edge. And because I have the soap bar in there, that's gonna give me a little bit of leverage to press it down. And I just do one side at a time and just make sure you're lined up when you do that. Like that, okay? Now, there are the tabs, which I'm actually okay with the tabs. But the tabs, when you fold them in then and you close the box, you'll see you've got a really nice edge right there on the side. So there's no sort of gap there. It's not much of a gap on the one without tabs, but you can see just a little bit of a gap there. See that? All right, folks, so in the chat, tell me, team tabs or team no tabs? if you feel like doing a unofficial vote in the chat. Either way works. If you didn't want to do the tabs, again, you can look at the template here. This is one without tabs. Okay. All right, I'm already seeing someone that says no tab. I see tabs. Ooh, okay. I will look at the chat afterwards, and I'd love to see sort of which wins. Oh, very, very cool. Tabs are winning. Yeah, Brian's like tabs. Awesome, you guys. All right, so we're going to decorate this, and I'm going to kind of do it on the fly because... let's see. I was going to show you a couple of things. I took that really big die piece that comes in the Leaves of Holly bundle. I thought that this was a little much with the glimmer paper, but basically I die cut this large piece, which actually has a frame around it. Where did I put that? And there's my tear and tape. Found that. I don't know where I put that. Anyways, everything seems to be sprouting legs and walking away. But this piece, when you die cut it, also has sort of a separated edge. And I wanted to show you what I did was actually, let me see if I can find it in the trash, to try to illustrate this. So this piece also comes attached. Let me grab, that's not a good example. White piece of paper here so you can kind of see. Those of you that have this bundle know what I'm talking about, but there's that really thin edge that is attached at the holly leaves. Can you see that? I didn't line it up exactly right, but it's a little bit flimsy, so you have the option to just cut it away. It's really easy to cut away. So I did that, and then I die cut this other piece out of shaded spruce and just glued that behind. And this is a really pretty piece, but I think it's a little bit much for this project. So let me show you the other thing that I was thinking. And ultimately what will happen is when this makes it to the blog, I will have made my decision and probably changed my mind a million times before I figure out what to do. Now I just need to find the pieces and parts. Here they are. All right, so I've already stamped and die cut Season's Greetings with Cherry Cobbler. And then I cut one of these really pretty holly leaves out of the glimmer paper. And I just see everything showing up when it's not when I want to see it. This is the piece that cuts the big thing, so I think you can see it's got that really thin, but it's a really, really cool piece. All right, and then I've got this piece of the window check, the Evening Evergreen, which is one of the coordinating colors. You guys are awesome, Team Tab. But I was doing this little, I think what we're gonna do is this little holly leaf and the sentiment. I kind of love that peeking behind the sentiment here. And then I was trying to figure out something with the ribbon here. And I think what I'm gonna do, we're gonna just do this on the fly here. I'm eyeballing this. I think I'm gonna do something like this. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Like I said, I may change my mind. Actually, let's do, I'm just folding this piece in half, or it's not in half, but folding the edge there and doing two sort of angled cuts. And I think what I'm gonna do is something like this with the sentiment. You're watching my creative brain try to work live. I think we'll do something like that. Oh, no ribbon. I see that. Let's see. All right, let's start by gluing the holly leaf down. So I'm just going to put just a couple of glue dots. Oh, I see no ribbon. Maybe we will do no ribbon. I don't think it needs it. You all are awesome. I love the voting. But ooh, that holly leaf is beautiful, isn't it? All right, let's see. I'm going to do a couple of things with glue dots so we can kind of lay out. This is typically what I'll do. I'll do a couple things not permanently, and I'm just going to take a glue dot and sandwich it there where I want to do the fold, and that's going to help me do something with the ribbon there. And then, I don't know if it needs the ribbon. Let's see. What do you think, dear? Oh, too funny. I think maybe it doesn't need the ribbon. All right, I'm doing no ribbon. Oh, team no gold. You guys are awesome. Oh, too cute. All right. Gonna grab some dimensionals here. Doing a couple of extra because sometimes with the glimmer paper, dimensionals don't love to stick to it. So this will stick to it enough. Oh, you want to see the gold leaf more? Well, let's do it like cattywampus. My favorite thing to do. Not really cattywampus. We'll do it off to the right though. Something different. There we go. Look at that. What do you think? I always ask Brian, I'm like, what do you think? He's never not told me that you've never told me you don't like something, have you? But I do give you choice A or B, don't I? All right, so there is our gift soap gift box. What do we want to call this? Cleansing bar? No. A gift soap gift box, something along those lines. But there we go. That's that. Let me show you the card again, and then I want to show you the die cut app really quickly, and we'll jump into Q&A. So there's the coordinating card. I love that little strip of that gold glimmer. You could absolutely add gems to this as well. Those festive pearls would be really pretty on here too. I don't think I have. Let's see. I'm gonna look really quickly in my stash here. I do have a gold. Let's do that. We'll do a quick piece of bling here. These are the festive pearls. I'm just gonna pop that right there for a little bit of bling to just kind of tie it all in. Adds just a really nice touch there. All right, so let me grab my phone really quickly and pull up the die cut app and show you what I mean by that. All right, so this is the die cut app. I know this is gonna be a little hard to see, but I'm gonna try to do this so you can see it. The starting size of paper that we're doing is 12 by 12. So that's where you put here in the starting size. And I apologize to those of you that are on Android. I'm not sure you can get this app for Android. I know that it is for iOS, but we want to do 4.25. That's 4 1/4 by 7.25. Okay. And then I'm going to click done because that piece we wanted to do was 4 1/4 by 7 1/4. And what this shows you, that some people miss this, it shows you 4 different layouts. And at the top of each of those layout numbers is the number of pieces you can get from that piece of paper. So I always gravitate towards where I can get the most. So there's a couple of different, you just tap on the layout and it's going to tell you how to cut your paper. So we did, I think we actually did both of these. Well, it didn't really matter. It's a square piece of paper, but that's how we cut our paper to get the 3 pieces that were 4 1/4 by 7 1/4. And this works with any starting size and any cut size. It will tell you exactly how many you can get out of whatever starting size paper. Love this app so much. And then you can see we've got some excess here that we used for the gift box itself. So that's the die cut app that I've talked about quite a few times. So now why don't we go ahead and jump into Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and pull questions up. Bear with me one moment here. All right, let's see. Perfect Plum ink pad. I do not see a refill ink for it. Will that be close to that color, please and thank. Oh, what will be close to that color? Perfect Plum. Ooh, I want to say I'm having a hard time remembering Perfect Plum. I don't think we have an exact match to that, but I'm going to guess something between Highland Heather and Rich Razzleberry. Perfect Plum, I think, was right in the middle of that, but if anybody in the chat has a vote on Perfect Plum and what might be a close second to that, good question. Salisa, that is a great question. You know what? Why don't we take that offline and I can answer that for you. It's a little bit of a complicated explanation for that, but I'm happy to chat with you about that. That would actually be a good thing for me to share on our next team chat on Tuesday. All right, so I'll take note of that. Oh, thank you for, I see there's lots of questions about closed captioning. Again, I think it's a YouTube thing that I'm not sure happens while it's live.
So I answered, they can't do it while it's live.
Okay, but they can look at it after the replay.
Yes.
Got it. Is the leaves available? It might still be unavailable. The orange dragonfly, I forgot to check the inventory status report. But I think somebody said it was going to be available on the 26th. So, what size magnet sheets? Oops, it's not working. Let's try that again. There we go. What size magnet sheets do you use for your dies? I use 5x7 from Stampin' Storage. So, what she's asking about is, my fingers aren't working. The magnet cards that I use, they are from Stampin' Storage. And they actually have this protective coating on the back that you can actually stick stamps to as well. But yeah, I do the 5x7. There are a couple of die sets that I need to use 2 5x7, but the nice thing about the C-line shop ticket holders that I use is you can get 2 magnet cards in these clear pockets. So there's that. All right. Yes, Angie, they will make it to my blog eventually. I took a bit of a blog hiatus. So many different things. COVID and then losing our family dog. And I'm about a month behind on blog posting. But yes, these will post to the blog. Oh, you're asking about the show and tell cards. I think you're asking. The best way to do that, Angie, is to watch the replay video and then just pause at that point in the video and you can study those cards. Okay? Let's see. All right, I'm scrolling. There's lots of, we're all talking about liquid glue, which has a Q. Let's see. Do I have a demonstrator down here in South Georgia? I'm not sure I understand your question. But you are welcome to choose any demonstrator you like. They don't have to be in South Georgia unless you're specifically looking for a demonstrator that does in-person classes, and then obviously that would matter where they live. But you can absolutely use the demonstrator locator at stampinup.com and type in your zip code and it'll share, I think, the first 5 that are closest to you, and then you can continue to expand the list as well. Let's see. I enjoyed watching your swaps from 2 weeks ago and have looked at other Stampin' Up! Demonstrator swaps. Is there any way you could create a swap between customers? I will consider that, Debbie. I will consider that. My upline, Brian King, does a 1-for-1 swap. I'm not sure when he ended that. It's possible that it's over, but he does do a 1-for-1 card swap, which is fun. You send in one card and you get a different card back. But I'll keep that in mind, Debbie. Let's see. I'm having a problem with my ink pads. They're so juicy that I get bubble marks on my cards. I've tried paper towels to absorb some of the ink, but it hasn't helped. Good question, Brenda. Usually what can happen when you have an ink pad that's like that is it is likely over inked. Sometimes they come that way from the manufacturer. But if paper towel is not working, one thing I can recommend is just grabbing like an expired credit card or I like to use the palette knives just because I have these, but something with kind of a flat surface, and see if you can press the ink into your ink pad just before you stamp it up, before you stamp the stamp set on it, and see if that helps you. Obviously, over time, because the ink pads store upside down, you might continue to have sort of the juiciness. If it still is a problem after that, definitely reach out to your demonstrator, and Stampin' Up! Would likely help you replace that. It's possible that that ink formula, for some reason, isn't working, and that's the type of feedback they would need to receive as well. So you've got options there. The weight of cardstock that I'm using, Elizabeth, is, I believe it's 80-pound cover weight. That's what our cardstock is. Do the numbers and lines on your metal ruler fade over time, or do they stay visible? I haven't had any issues with that fading over time. It is etched into, you're not gonna be able to see this on the video, but they are etched into the metal, and then it's probably like an enamel or a paint, but I haven't had any issues with those fading over time. Now, I've only had this for probably about a year or so, but there's no degradation with those marks on the ruler. They are all sort of etched in, so I think they'll be in good shape for a long, long time. Let's see, several days ago, I think it was Brian King, he posted a piece and commented that he keeps a separate cutting tool to use on the glimmer paper. I actually have not experienced issues with the blades getting dull due to glimmer paper. Now, I don't cut glimmer paper a lot. Now, Brian King also doesn't like glitter specifically, but he's okay with the glimmer paper because the glitter doesn't come off our current version. Back in the day, glitter would come off all over it, and I can see why he'd absolutely use a separate trimmer. Actually, he probably wouldn't even cut it because he hates glitter that much. But some people have experienced that it will dull the blades. I have not personally experienced that, but I also don't use it all that often. But that's what extra cutting blades are for as well. I would actually probably invest in extra cutting blades before I'd invest in a paper trimmer, just from a cost perspective. Yay, Celisa! I'm asking my first question. So when as a demonstrator can I place an order and order the host gift for me? Ooh, good. I want to make sure I'm answering your question right, Celisa. So anytime that you place an order of $150 or more, whether you're a demonstrator or a customer, you earn Stampin' Rewards on that, and then Stampin' Rewards can be applied towards either any product of your choice or specifically a host product. I think that's what you're asking, but we can also take that offline if I need to give any more clarification for that. What limitations might we want to be aware of using glimmer paper? Really, that is a good question. I don't know of any limitations, to be honest. The only thing that sometimes gets a little bit tricky is gluing things onto glimmer paper. Because the glimmer paper is now, before the glitter flakes used to be able to flake off the paper. Stampin' Up! Changed the production of the paper, and now the glitter doesn't flake off. But sometimes you'll want to use something like either the fine tip glue pen, which is a lot like our Crystal Effects. That can be a very useful adhesive if you're trying to glue something to glimmer paper. It's that surface that can be a little bit hard to adhere things to it. I try to be strategic about where I place things and adhere things around glimmer paper, just so that I don't have issues with things coming off of it, if that makes sense. Ooh, could I make some ornaments, please? I will keep that in mind, Elizabeth. Thanks for the suggestion. What a great app. Is it a Stampin' Up! App? It is not a Stampin' Up! App, Steph, and it is a free app. You can find it in the iOS or Apple App Store. It's called spelled D-Y-C-U-T. It's the Die Cut app. It is free, and you also have the ability to provide donations if you love the app. So I highly recommend that. Bobby in Upline is the team leader, if you are a demonstrator, the team leader that you signed up with. So folks that chose to join my team with me directly, I am considered their upline. So I joined underneath Brian King, so he is my upline. Have they changed the weight of cardstock? My rich raspberry seems thicker than the new cardstock I just got in. This is a great question, and this is my own personal observation. I have noticed with different colors of cardstock that some of them have different textures, and I believe it's because the ink formula for that specific color is slightly different, causing the paper fibers to behave a little bit differently. So I've noticed things like my Mary Merlot and my Evening Evergreen, they seem to be very, I can never think of the right adjective for it, but they seem sturdier and more crisp when I sort of score and fold and burnish. Whereas paper like the Basic Black, and I can't think of other ones off the top of my head. Basic Black is always the best example, but it seems to be a little bit of a softer fibers, and I don't know if that's because of the color. But yeah, you will notice a little bit of variation in the fibers, and I think it's based on the ink formula, but I don't know that as an official answer. So, all right, we have reached the end of the questions. I want to look really quickly and see if we've got anybody new here. Let's see. It doesn't look like it. Or let's see, first time. If I could type. Nope, I think we are good. Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for being patient with us starting about 15 minutes late. I hope you enjoyed tonight's projects. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. We will be live again next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for episode 265. Don't forget, tonight at 12 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time, that's 11 p.m. Pacific, 2 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Central. The last chance list will post with the discounts applied. The clearance rack is going to get refreshed. And if you are thinking about joining Stampin' Up!, tomorrow is also pre-order day for us with the new January to April 2023 mini catalog. So we get to pre-order as demonstrators, which also means you can add pre-order items to your starter kit if you want to join the Stampin' Up! Family during the month of December, so keep that in mind. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. We do have a new support email address, support@thepaperpixie.com, if we can assist you in any way. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week, and I will see you next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful and blessed week. Take care and see you soon. Bye.